Bicycle Mike's Let's Go Biking show will not be shown today, as Mike recently completed his DUI program and had his driving privileges restored. So, we now bring you the Talk of San Diego. The Talk of San Diego. The Talk of San Diego. The Talk.
Hi, I'm Andrea. I will be your host today on the Talk of San Diego, and we are here at the Natural History Museum, and we're going to see the exhibit of the horse. And as you can see,
Of San Diego.
we're going to take a break and talk to someone very shortly who knows everything about this exhibit. Thanks for watching.
In a recent Gallup poll, horses overwhelmingly prefer trotting as opposed to galloping. And now, our program.
Now tell me, what are the odds of all of this driftwood washing up shore in the shape of a horse? Very slim. Hi, I'm Andrea, and this is the Talk of San Diego, and I'm here with Joe Adley. He is the guest curator and a paleontologist, and we are here at the Natural History Museum, and he is going to talk to us about the horse exhibit. And what can you tell us about the horse exhibit?
Well, the horse exhibit kind of talks about the evolution of the horse, how horses came to be. They evolved in North America some 55 million years ago, and it takes us through time all the way up to the present, showing how horses have interacted with our culture and really changed our civilization through time.
Mm-hmm. And about how many different breeds did we end up having over the time?
Well, we have 200 breeds of horses nowadays, and that's all actually a single subspecies. But throughout time, there was many different species.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about the impact that the horse has made in the human civilization.
Well, horses have been really important for things like food. We've ridden horses. I mean, you can think about trade and travel, how much that kind of technology would advance our civilization. It's been used for war, and nowadays it's used for entertainment. So it's pretty strong impact. Probably the most important animal for human culture ever.
Incredible. And so you said they helped with travel, and they helped with work or war.
Yeah, all of the above.
And what other things did they do over the time?
Well, like I said, they were used for food. So that was their original use for humans. About 40,000 years ago, as people were moving into Europe, we had really good evidence that they were eating them. And even for domestication, in fact, we were eating horses. Some 5,000 years ago, when we started bringing horses in and keeping them with us, we were using them for food. It wasn't until about 3,000 years ago that we actually started riding horses.
Oh, okay. And how have these creatures evolved over the time?
Well, horses, when they first came about, were small, 4 to 5-toed animals that were probably the size of a small dog. So they've changed quite a bit over time. To really be a big runner and to eat grasses and graze, and they've kind of become this single-toed animal that you see today.
Oh, wow. And so tell me about the teeth and the toes that changed over time. They had 3, how many toes did you say?
Well,
4?
the oldest horses had 4 toes on the front and 3 toes in the back. But the ancestral condition for all tetrapods, anything that came out of the water, originally had 5 toes. So they've had a big reduction where they had first 5 toes, and then they lost the first stage and the 5th, the 2nd and the 4th, and they're only left with the middle finger, essentially.
Oh, wow.
So when you see a horse running around, it's actually kind of running on the very tip of its middle finger. It's just kind of flipping you off. So it's kind of interesting. And then to eat grasses, because about 30 million years ago, this huge expansion of grasslands all throughout the world. So you had open savannas as far as the eye can see. And grasses are actually really hard to eat because they incorporate a lot of silica, which is essentially like chewing glass. So horses evolved these really high crown teeth, these large teeth for grinding, so that they wouldn't grind away their teeth over the course of their life.
Oh, okay. And tell me about the process to domesticate a horse. What are the things that you'd have to do?
Well, when you think about animals that are domesticated, they're animals that have a social structure, a group structure. So you have animals that are more dominant than other animals. And really what you're trying to do when you're domesticating animals, weeding out dominance, you want them to be able to submit to you. So you're probably getting lots of male horses that are really submissive, and you're breeding them with lots of females. So if you look at the genetics, there's horses, there's probably only one or two male horses in the genetics of modern breeds of horses, but at least 77 female horses. So we're keeping these submissive male horses and breeding them with all these populations of horses across Europe and Asia. So that's really how it is, and that's the only reason you can control a horse that's 4 or 5 times your size, is because it's submitting to your dominant form.
Well, thank you. And this is Andrea on the Talk of San Diego, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back soon.
Thank you. The Talk of San Diego recommends men over the age of 50 to have a yearly prostate exam. However, for your safety, make sure you have it performed only by a licensed professional.
Now, if you're a person, you would be measured in feet. But if you're a horse, you'd be measured in hands. This one is 18 hands tall. Look at all the metal in this guy. All that armor. I wonder how much it costs to detail this guy out. Talk about Fabergé eggs. This one's on steroids. Hi, I'm Andrea, and this is the Talk of San Diego, and we are here at the San Diego Natural History Museum, and we're going to continue our little talk. So, can you tell me about, I know that there was this section about the cave paintings in France, and how they drew like horses or something similar to that. Can you explain that to me?
Well, that's just good. We have good evidence that the horses were in Europe at that time, that they had dispersed all over the planet by that point, and that humans were hunting them and using them as food. So that's just showing that people were really watching them. There's actually, if you look at a lot of those paintings, they show a lot of different postures that you will see in a horse, a lot of different stances, a lot of different attitudes. And no horse in those cave paintings were drawn the same. So these people were really admiring these horses and were really studying them very closely.
And how are the paintings not the same from another one? How are they all different?
Well, different artists, different person doing it.
Oh, okay.
So you're talking about different cultures as well.
And how did the horses end up all around the world? I know that they started here, right? And they ended up all across the world. And how did they do that?
Well, throughout time, horses, the different genuses of horse spread throughout the entire world, like probably 3 or 4 times, probably across land bridges. You have times of glaciation, or you have times when continents have shifted, so that they can get across into Europe, into South America, into Africa and Asia.
And how have horses shaped our lives and vice versa?
Well, like I said, they've changed our culture really drastically by allowing fast transportation. You think about traveling, 100 miles, that's a long walk if you think about it. Whereas if you're on a horse, that might be a couple days ride. And it's changed even more with the car, where that's no problem. I can go there in 2 hours in a car. So the transportation is a big deal. It allowed armies to cross great distances and conquer vast lands. It also allowed, you think about plowing a field, or pushing a plow through a field, that would be pretty tough on your own, but the horse allowed that to be done in much quicker time. So it's really, the horse was the iPhone at the time. It's a big change in technology.
Yes. And I know it mentioned somewhere that they can survive on grass for a whole day, or is that true?
Well, that's what they've been involved to eat, is grasses. I mean, like I said, those high crown teeth, they have really big intestines digesting the grasses. They are really built to eat grass. And if you think about what we feed them today, like hay and vegetables and oats and things like that, that's actually not what they're evolved to eat. And it's actually kind of bad for them. In fact, if you get a horse and you're feeding on this diet, eventually you have to take it to a doctor to grind down its teeth because its teeth won't warn like it naturally would.
And how often would you say that happens?
I'm not really sure. I've never owned a horse myself. So I don't really know.
Would you like to own a horse?
Yeah, sure. Great.
And and how long have you known about the history of the horses, or how long have you been studying them?
I've been studying horses for about 6 months, so not too long. But my background's in paleontology, so I've been studying fossil organisms for a long time. That's actually one of the case studies they teach you in school is the evolution of the horse. So I guess you could say it goes back a lot farther than that.
And so what else can you tell me about them that's fascinating, or like a fascinating fact that you would like to share?
Well, horses have we talked about horses having 5 toes, right? And then they kind of reduce them over time. They actually have what remains of the 2nd and the 4th digit. And it's actually these metapodials, these bones that are in your palm, are actually remain. We call them splint bones. They're really reduced on the side of the middle metapodial. And they're still just remnants of those toes being there.
Oh, okay. And so they have a hoof, and that's kind of like...
The hoof is the very tip of your fingers. It's the very last finger bone of the middle finger, essentially. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And how long do horses usually live up to?
I think horses live like 20 to 30 years.
Wow.
So a good amount of time. Yeah, and they stand up for about 20 hours a day, so they're always standing. They don't really lay down. They're not really... Their limbs don't have much play in this direction, so they really evolved to move forward like this.
And they don't really, I think only when they're sick, right? That's when they lay down?
For a long period of time, yeah.
Oh, okay. And have you had any experience with like training horses or?
I've ridden a few horses, but I don't have a big experience training them. I've looked at their bones.
Yeah.
That's probably the extent of my experience.
And how much do they weigh? Like how many pounds or?
It depends. I mean, you're talking about like a Shetland pony, which is the smallest breed. It's horse that stands about this high, is probably a couple hundred pounds.
Oh, okay.
And then you're talking about a draft horse, which is what you see, pulling the Anheuser-Busch cart. Those are quite heavy and much taller.
Thank you. And we'll take a short break. I'm Andrea, and this is the Talk of San Diego.
Thank you. And be sure to wash your hands, please. And wear gloves, for God's sakes. You're watching the Talk of San Diego. Since I don't have time to stand in line with a bunch of losers and wannabes, here's my only chance to audition for American Idol. Randy, dog, this one's for you, brother. I love everyday people. So what do you guys think, huh? Hollywood? Yellow ticket? Should I see Ryan? Thank you very much.
I'm Beth Hagendorf, and you're watching The Talk of San Diego. Everyone needs a good diet to stay healthy. Looks like these guys missed a meal. Look at all these colors. He'd fit right in the gay pride parade. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's a boy horse. Oh.
Hi, I'm Andrea. This is the Talk of San Diego, and I'm here with Joe. And you said that this is the first exhibit to be on the West Coast?
This is the first time this traveling exhibit, the horse, has been on the West Coast. Yeah, it's been all over the East Coast, and this is the first time we've been able to bring it over to the West Coast. So this is really the premiere at the San Diego Natural History Museum.
And do they travel by horse?
No, not by horse. Horseless carriage.
And so what can we do to protect the lives of the last remaining wild horses?
Well, that's kind of tough to say. There aren't really many wild horses left. You think about horses running around wild in North America, those are actually feral horses. Those were reintroduced by the Spanish in the 15th and 16th century after the horse had gone extinct 10,000 years ago. And they've just kind of run wild. I mean, this is their home turf, this is where they live. The only really remaining wild horses live in, like Kazakhstan, that kind of area in Asia. So, and those are very secluded populations, are very hard to get to. So as long as humans don't encroach on that habitat, they should be fine.
Do you think they will? They'll hunt them, or?
Who knows? I hope not.
And there's an exhibit on Del Mar here?
There's a section in this horse exhibit on the Del Mar racetrack. The Del Mar racetrack is really integral to San Diego society. It's been here for a long time. It was the first track to introduce poly-track, which is a special kind of track that keeps horses from getting hurt as often as they race. So we've added this special section that's never been seen before at this exhibit, and it's only here at the San Diego Natural History Museum.
Oh, cool. And when are the horse races going to start?
I believe they start July 18th to the 20th, and they go into September.
Oh, okay. And do you know like how long they have to train their whole lives to do these type of races?
Yes,
or?
Well, the horses themselves train their whole lives.
Yeah.
I suppose the jockeys have to train.
And do you think that horses will evolve even more in the future?
Oh, everything evolves. It might not be to a degree that you would notice, especially in a human lifetime. But there's always changes in your genes going on through time. I don't think they're gonna, lose that final tail and start floating around, but yeah, they will change through time.
And so you said there are 200 different types of breeds?
Yep, at least.
And so do, let's say, different horses of different sizes also breed, or does that not really work out?
All these horses, it doesn't matter how small or how big it is, all these breeds are actually the same subspecies of horse. They're all really closely related. It's just like all breeds of dog are the same species.
Oh, okay.
Whereas if you look at a zebra is a different species of the same genus.
Oh, okay.
So they're really closely related to our horses, but they're not the domesticated horse.
And so how do you get like the spotted horses? Like where do
Through breeding.
Okay.
So you choose a horse that says, oh, well, this horse has had some spots on it, and this horse had a couple spots, and we'll breed them together, and maybe one or two of their offspring will have spots, and we'll breed that one with another one with spots. So you kind of just perpetuating this gene flow. It's called natural selection, where we choose what traits are selected to be kept.
And nowadays you can even like pick what genes you want and make a horse, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, we're getting there. Well, the horse exhibit is open now, and it will be closing on January 20th. So come and take a look at it. It's pretty great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we are here at the San Diego Natural History Museum. I'm Andrea, this is Joe, and this is the Talk of San Diego. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Oh! Oh, you should see this. Oh, it looks like they're, oh my gosh, it's so cool. See, it says gallop, walk, and trot. And if you look inside, spin it. Oh, that's so cool. Can you see it? No, look in here. Enduring bond. James Bond. He sprinkles seeds on his back. You wait 10 days. Ch-ch-ch-chia. Who's the boss? Who's the boss? Bruce!
The management of the Talk of San Diego would like to apologize for the Talk of San Diego.
Oh, hey, why the long face? You all heard of Mossy Nissan, but how about Mossy selling horses? Where should I put the quarter? Oh, I found it.
Hey, this is Cassandra with the Talk of San Diego.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the fair maiden Miss Andrea Bensussen.
Wow, look at that whip. And a ball gag? What were these guys into? And if you're a horse, you'd win one of these. But it pales in comparison to the Stanley Cup. I love the smell of leather and the feel of boots. Or is it the other way around? Oh, I didn't even see you there. I'm Andrea, and this is the Talk of San Diego. And didn't we learn some amazing things here about horses and all of their history and how they changed over the years? Well, I did learn a lot, and I hope you did too. And this is the Talk of San Diego. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
You're watching The Talk of San Diego. Remember, this is Breast Awareness Month. We here at The Talk of San Diego are doing our part to support this very important cause.
The time is now, even if you think it's not. A war outside, all the killing's gotta stop. Put a cop on every block, and they talk a lot of talk, but they aren't saying a lot. From the bottom to the top, the time is now, even if you think it's not. A war outside, all the killing's gotta stop. Put a cop on every block, and they talk a lot of talk, but they aren't saying a lot. From the bottom to the top.
Step in the class, solid metal capping the blast. They prepping the stash so we don't find the weapons and masks. They see through, far from the days of the B2, where we view war weapons made of the DU. Incorrect files lead us with text smiles. Next styles, projectiles, you would expect trials. Relate to Gotti, deal with chemicals that hate the body. Too late for shoddy, we dirt bomb, Kuwait and Saudi. 350 tons, a lot of nifty runs. 20-year vet soldiers there to get me guns. Go tell the nearest farmer about the clearest karma. The fierce farmer, uranium, the Paris armor. Measure the field, Reagan's treasure revealed. When we operate through storms in them Jesuit shields. Heavily wrecked while we made this melody to flex. Deli is next, depleted you and its deadly effects.
The time is now, even if you think it's not. A war outside, all the killing's gotta stop. Put a cop on every block, and they talk a lot of talk, but they aren't saying a lot. From the bottom to the top, the time is now, even if you think it's not. A war outside, all the killing's gotta stop. Put a cop on every block, and they talk a lot of talk, but they aren't saying a lot. From the bottom to the top, lost X-Files, genocide in disguise. Mutated gen child warfare on a rise. Lost lives, broken ties, radiation in the sky. See you met the next crime, barely wasting any time. Patient with my mind spins like a non-clip hit. Fully IE quit, had to fight for it. Thought I might just slip, but I held on so strong. Bond with the tightest grip. It's the mice of men in the valley of sin. The battleground's tainted with depleted uranium. Government is in it to win it with evil aliens. Freemasons, Illuminati run the game. Ill. It's the same thing they're saying, playing the same game. Tainted mainframe runs the main brain. I just maintain, patiently waiting. These frustrations are taking my patience. People need to stop spitting all of this fake shit. I'm feeling lost like I'm walking in the matrix. War, holocaust, dominant hatred, taking everything that's sacred. The time is now, even if you think it's not. A war outside, all the killing's gotta stop. Put a cop on every block, and they talk a lot of talk, but they aren't saying a lot. From the bottom to the top, the time is now, even if you think it's not. A war outside, all the killing's gotta stop. Put a cop on every block, and they talk a lot of talk, but they aren't saying a lot. From the bottom to the top.
A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. You know the rest.
And we're done.